how does the Google Ads auction work? What does it mean that it is an auction? Well, I'm going to explain that to you today in this video and hopefully get you a better sense for why competitors might be showing up above you, or why your ads might be showing up above them, or why you're not even showing up at all, and answer some of those common questions that advertisers have about Google Ads. If you don't know who I am, my name is John, and I'm the CEO of Stub Group. Stub Group is a digital advertising agency, a premier Google partner, and we help businesses dominate Google Ads and make money online. So let's talk about the Google Ads auction. So first of all, auction. What does that mean? Let's talk about basics. So when you run a search ad or a shopping ad on Google, and to define what I mean by that, the text ad that shows up when you go on Google, or the ad that shows up with a link to a product that you can buy with a price, an image, a name of the product, that kind of thing. Those are search ads, those are shopping ads. And those are what we're going to focus on in this video in terms of the auction. Technically, there are auction elements to YouTube ads and Google display ads, but we're not going to focus on that. I think most people are most interested in trying to understand how search and shopping works. So with search and shopping, you initially are trying to communicate to Google what you even want your ads to appear for. In other words, when people search for things on Google, why should your ad appear? And so you start with proactively entering information into Google. So for search campaigns, you can enter keywords where you're telling Google, if someone searches buy umbrellas or tree service near me or fill in the blank, we want to target that. We want to show up. And you can set other targeting as well, like geographic areas. Let's say you're a local business. You only want to target people in your zip code or in your city. You can set those targets as well. And on the shopping side of things, you can't choose keywords, but you can provide your product data to Google. And then Google looks at your titles, your product categories, things like that, to figure out what searches are relevant to your products, similar to how they look at keywords with your search campaigns. So first step is you're basically telling Google, here's information about what I want to appear for when people search on Google. But obviously there are a lot of advertisers who want to show up for the same things, and they can't all show up at the same time. And those that can are going to show up in a level of priority. Someone's going to be at the top, and then position 2, 3, 4, and so on. So that is where the Google Ads auction comes in. And Google is looking at a whole lot of things when it comes to their auction, but I'll break down kind of the big categories. First of all, they're not just looking at what you're willing to pay for a click, although that is one aspect. So a lot of people think, oh, the big guys, they could just, bid up to infinity and they're always going to win auctions. And that's not the case, because Google wants the ads that appear to be relevant to what people are searching for. So it would not be a good experience or relevant experience for, let's say, a car insurance company like Geico to say, I just want to show up for anything. And so just to have a really high bid, and if someone's looking for local tree service, you see an ad for Geico at the top of the page. That's not relevant, because people aren't looking for Geico, they're looking for a tree service. And so Google is looking at what you bid, but they're also looking at the relevance of your ad and your landing page to what the person is searching for. Because the way that Google makes money is by getting people to click on ads. And the more relevant the ads are, the more people will click on them, and at a higher percentage. And therefore, the more opportunities Google has to make money. So what they do is, when someone searches for tree service, they're looking at, okay, all the people who are bidding for that type of keyword in this geographic location, on the device the person's on, if they're on computer, mobile, etc. There's lots of other kind of factors that can go into it. But basically, they're looking at everybody who's eligible to appear for the search. Then they're looking at something called ad rank to determine whether or not you show up and in what order you show up. So ad rank is a combination of a couple of things. First of all, it does look at how much you're telling Google you are willing to pay for a click. And there are a number of different ways you can communicate that bid, is what they call that bid, to Google. You can have what they call manual cost per click bidding, where you basically enter a number and say, Google, you can spend up to $5 or $1, whatever number you enter per click. So that's a very manual approach. There are also a lot of automated approaches where you are leveraging Google's AI and machine learning to look at your conversion rates and different things to estimate, okay, for this type of a search, I could afford to pay X. For that type of a search, I could afford to pay Y. And where you kind of leave it up to Google's system to make those decisions about each individual search, depending upon all those factors and depending upon the conversion data that you send back to Google. Google. But at the end of the day, ultimately, there is some bid that's being made either manually by what you entered or by Google's system with their bidding strategy. And so that bid is factoring into your ad rank. But again, like I mentioned earlier, it's not the only thing. Google's also looking at the relevancy of your ad to the keyword, to the search that you're targeting. So if you write an ad about, hey, tree service near you, call for a free quote, that's a very relevant ad to someone looking for tree service. And so it's going to be have a higher score, a higher ad rank than Geico's ad that says nothing about tree service. Now, when you've got a bunch of people who are all advertising tree service, and so their ads are all relatively relevant to the keywords, you also have this thing called expected click-through rate. So this is where Google is looking at kind of across the board at the ads that are appearing for keywords and figuring out what do they think is the expected click-through rate. Click-through rate is simply number of clicks divided by impressions. So in other words, if every time an ad showed up, if it showed up 100 times and 10 out of those times someone clicked on the ad, it would have a 10% click-through rate. 10 clicks divided by 100 impressions for that ad. And so again, Google makes their money by getting more clicks. So if they see an ad is getting more clicks, I should say an ad with a higher click-through rate, then they're going to prefer to show that ad versus a different ad that has a lower click-through rate. For multiple reasons. A, they make more money because of more clicks, but also B, the assumption is that if more people are clicking on that ad with a higher click-through rate, they are finding it more relevant, and therefore it is a better experience for people. And so that's where good ad copy comes into play, because you might find that just saying, hey, we're a tree service isn't enough. You might need to feature special offers in your ad copy, or put the name of the locations, people know that you're local to them, or put different features like same-day quote, or in business for 50 years, or different things that make your ad more compelling than your competitors' ads and as relevant as possible to what people are searching for, so that your click-through rate can be higher. And when your click-through rate is better than competitors, that increases your ad rank and makes Google more likely to feature you and also to have your ad higher than competitors. Also looking at the landing page you're sending traffic to, because Google knows the ad is just the first stop, kind of the entrance to the journey. They want to make sure that the experience people get to after clicking the ad is also good. Otherwise, people don't find the result helpful. They click back. They're not happy with Google because Google didn't give them a good result. And Google's all about giving the best results possible consistently, because that's what keeps people using Google and therefore keeps Google making money. So your landing page, if you're running an ad about tree service, it should talk about tree service. It should be very clear about tree service. It should have that keyword on the page. It should have images of trees being cut. It should have helpful information, so forth and so on. You could have an ad about tree service, but if it went to a page about life insurance, well, that's not helpful at all. People are going to click right back. Google's going to see that and not be happy with that and penalize you accordingly. So they're looking at that. They're looking at kind of clickbacks, and they're looking at, again, what keywords are on your page. Doesn't mean you need to stuff keywords. That used to be a strategy. That's not important anymore. But you do want to be very clear. Have the keywords on your page. If it's about tree service, have that in your headline so people Google sees that, and also the people getting to your website see that, because you're optimizing really both for the robots from Google that are looking at your site, as well as for the actual people that are getting to your site and hopefully will be reaching out to you. So make your landing page as relevant as possible, as helpful as possible, communicating the information that people need to see. And Google's looking at that as well as a part of their ad rank. So they look at those things, and then they come up with that ad rank. Now, ad rank is not a number that you see. Ad rank is really something, it's a word that Google's come up with to talk about how they decide who wins the auctions and in what place. So you never see, I had an ad rank of 2.3 or something like that. But Google does give you some insights within your Google Ads account about the factors that contribute to ad rank. So you can go into the quality score area in your Google Ads account, and you can see how your expected click-through rate compares to competitors. If it's like average, low, high, you can see what Google thinks about your landing page, average, low, high, and again, how relevant your ad is to the keywords. And so that can give you insights of things to improve. If you're like, hey, you know what? Our relevancy score is really high, but Google thinks that our landing page experience is below average, and that could be an issue. So that's a place to work on improving your landing page to increase that score. And that's those categories of things go into something that Google calls quality score, which is really just a signal to you. That is a score of 1 out of 10. So Google will say, hey, if you have a 10 quality score, generally for this keyword, we think you're doing really, really well. If you have a 1, you're doing really, really poorly. And so that's something that, again, can be a signal to guide you on optimizations to make. It's not the be-all, end-all. A lot of people spend too much time focused on their quality score and not the actual performance of the campaigns and ads. But it's a helpful signal to look at as one of many things that goes into the performance of your campaigns. On the Google Shopping side of things, you don't see a quality score. You don't see those same categories that you do on the search side of things. It's a little more, frankly, mysterious to try to figure out how to improve things. But there it's really about how do I make my titles better, make sure that the keywords I want to target are in the headlines, make sure the images are as compelling as possible of the products, make sure my price is competitive with competitors, make sure my descriptions are well worded, fill out all the fields that Google gives me as an option to fill out with things like color and age and gender and things like that, so that Google has as much data as possible, because the more data Google has about my products, the more they like my products and the more likely my ad rank is to be. But again, if you have a product that's twice as expensive as basically the same product from a competitor, you may have a hard time getting your ad to show up as much, because people are most likely clicking more often on your cheaper competitor's product. Therefore, their click-through rate is better. Therefore, Google believes that they're a more compelling or relevant offer, and you're going to have a harder time showing up and competing for obvious reasons. So those are some basics that will hopefully help you understand how things go. There's a lot of nuance to everything that would take hours and hours to go into. That's not the purpose of the video here today. But hopefully this maybe answers some questions for you or creates some new questions, gives you a starting point for better understanding how Google Ads works. And if you don't want to spend your life learning how Google Ads works, you want to hire someone else to do that for you, we'd love to help you here at Step Group. You can reach out through our website, stepgroup.com. We'll do a free consultation with you, see how we can help, and then get off to the races. And as we like to say, help you dominate Google Ads. So until next time, thanks for watching. Take care.